That Valentine's night, blood stained the teddy bear he gave me. Not real blood, but my tears. Because that was the night my roommate and I found out we were both dating the same man. And he was in our house. My chest was tight, and my hands were shaking. Not because I was heartbroken. No, this wasn't heartbreak. This was betrayal. Let me take you back a few hours earlier. It was February 14th. Love was in the air. Red and white balloons were flying around campus. People were smiling, hugging, holding hands, all that stuff. And me? I was in my room, screaming in excitement with my roommate Ruth. Jessie! Jessie! He did it, oh. Ruth shouted from the kitchen. I ran to her and saw the biggest teddy bear I had ever seen. Red, fluffy, with a golden ribbon and a card that said, "To the love of my life. Dinner by 8. Dress red." She was blushing, jumping, acting like she was in a movie. Then I laughed and said, "Imagine if it's the same teddy bear my own boo gave me." Ruth rolled her eyes and said, "I beg go and rest, Jessica. You and your overthinking." But here's the plot twist. 10 minutes later, I got a knock on the door. A delivery guy handed me my own teddy bear. Same size, same red, same golden ribbon. I opened the card slowly. My stomach started doing backflips. It read, "To the love of my life. Dinner by 8. Dress red." Word for word. I laughed nervously. Maybe it's a trend, I said to myself. Maybe all these guys are copying stuff online. I walked to the kitchen and showed Ruth. She paused, looked at mine, then at hers, then back at mine. Silence. I could feel the air shift in the room. "Wait, Jessica," she said slowly. "Who sent you this teddy?" I smiled and said, "Come on now." "Who else?" "Daniel, of course." She blinked. "Daniel? As in Daniel Okafor?" I nodded. She dropped her teddy bear on the floor like it burned her hand. "Jessica, I thought you were joking." That's when my hands started shaking. "What do you mean?" "My own card was signed Daniel too," she said, her voice trembling. We both grabbed our phones and opened the delivery messages. Same number, same delivery time, same Daniel. In that moment, everything inside me went silent. My heart didn't beat. My mind didn't think. I just stared at Ruth. And she stared at me. We had both been dating the same man. And we were both planning to go on dinner dates with him at 8 p.m. In that room, with 2 teddy bears, 1 card, and no answers, the truth slapped us in the face. And the clock was ticking. Daniel wasn't just any guy. He was the dream. Tall, clean, soft-spoken, always smelling like money and mint gum. A tech bro with a booming startup. He made apps and made money. The kind of guy who wore designer slippers to meetings and still looked like a boss. I met him last year at a networking event on campus. I was covering the event as part of my media internship, and he was one of the sponsors. I still remember how he walked up to me and said, "You look like someone with a sharp mind and a soft heart." That line got me. From there, it was breakfast dates, surprise money in my account, midnight video calls, and long talks about the future. He told me I was the piece in his chaos. I believed him. When I fell sick last semester, Daniel flew back from a tech conference in Dubai just to stay with me for 2 days. My girls said he was different. Even Ruth used to say, "You found gold, Jessie." Sometimes he'd pick me up from class, and the girls would scream, "Wife material." I used to laugh, blush, and wave like a clown. We had been together for nearly a year. No cheating scandals. No drama. He never shouted at me. Never made me feel less than. He always knew what to say. And I was so sure, he was going to propose this Valentine's Day. We had talked about marriage 3 weeks ago. He said, "By next year, I want you to be waking up beside me every morning." I had already picked my dress for dinner tonight. Red silk, hair laid, nails done. I even told Ruth that if he brought out a ring tonight, she should record it. Now I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or scream. How could someone who called me his queen also be calling my roommate his everything? I kept pacing the room. "I don't understand," I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. He told me I was the only one. Ruth sat on the bed, arms folded, lips tight. She looked just as confused, just as hurt. And the most painful part? We both still had feelings for him. But in 3 hours, Daniel was expecting both of us at dinner in red. And I swear to God, that dinner was going to be a night he would never forget. But here's the thing. While I was crying over Daniel, Ruth was hiding something too. I didn't know it back then, but Ruth had her own boyfriend. And I don't mean Daniel. I mean someone else, a real secret boyfriend. He used to come around when I wasn't home, usually on weekends when I traveled to see my folks in Ibadan. She was smart about it. He never left a toothbrush, never forgot his charger. But I noticed small things. The smell of male perfume in our room, an extra toothbrush that always disappeared after I mentioned it, and her phone always face down. Once I asked her, "Babe, are you seeing someone?" She laughed and said, "I beg, Jessica. I don't even have time for all that walla." But I should have known better. Ruth was many things, funny, loud, playful, but she was also private when it came to her heart. And now, sitting in that same room, shocked over Daniel, I remembered something she said just last week. We were painting our nails and gisting about Valentine's Day plans when she blushed and said, "This year, I might finally introduce someone. You'll see." I thought she was talking about Daniel. But maybe, just maybe, Daniel wasn't her main man. Maybe he was just one of them. At exactly 6:47 p.m., Ruth's phone buzzed. She looked at it and froze. I leaned in. "Is that Daniel?" She shook her head. "No, it's someone else." Before I could ask who, she jumped up, grabbed her towel, and ran into the bathroom. I stared at her phone. The message was still on the screen. "I can't wait to see you tonight. Don't let me down again." I didn't recognize the number. But the way Ruth locked that phone, you would think she was hiding nuclear codes. My head was spinning. Was Ruth in love with someone else the whole time? Was Daniel even serious to her? Suddenly, it didn't feel like I was the only one being lied to. And the worst part, Ruth was dressing up for someone else now, someone she never told me about. Daniel was playing games, but maybe Ruth was playing too. And dinner at 8 p.m.? It was starting to feel like a full-blown war. It started like a joke. At exactly 7:12 p.m., someone dropped a message in the Campus Gist and Vibes Telegram group. Breaking, Daniel the lover boy exposed. Double dating on Val's Day? Then came the pictures. First photo, Daniel standing close to me, Jessica, in front of a fancy restaurant, holding my waist. I remember that night. My birthday. He said I was his forever. Second photo, Daniel again, this time cuddled up in a car with Ruth, kissing her forehead. Same jacket. Same Daniel. The group exploded. Wait, oh, are those two different girls? Is that Jessica from Masscom? And Ruth her roommate? This boy no day fear God, oh. My heart dropped. I stared at my screen, frozen. My photo. Ruth's photo. Daniel looking like a Netflix lover boy in both. We hadn't even left the room yet for dinner. And now our story, our pain, was trending. Ruth stormed out of the bathroom with her makeup half done. "What's going on?" she asked, towel still wrapped around her. I just showed her my phone. Her eyes widened. She blinked twice. "Is that us?" We both stared at the group chat, scrolling in silence as more people chimed in. Two teddy bears, same dinner plan, one guy? Omo. This Valentine came with boss bows. Then, someone tagged both of us. At Jessie J at Ruthie XO, you girls okay? Just like that, the whole campus knew. And we weren't even at the dinner yet. "I don't get it," Ruth whispered. "How did they even get these pictures?" I didn't know. Maybe someone followed him. Maybe someone close to us posted it. Or maybe, just maybe, this was fate serving justice early. Then came the final dagger. A girl named Mimi dropped another picture. Daniel again, this time with her. Holding another teddy bear. Caption: "Don't feel too bad, ladies. We've all been played. Happy Valentine's to us." Silence. My stomach turned. Ruth sat slowly on the bed, face blank. This wasn't a love triangle. It was a love hexagon. Our 8 p.m. dinner suddenly meant nothing. But I knew one thing for sure. We were not going to cry in that room. Ruth looked at me and said, "Should we still go?" I stood, wiped my face, and smiled bitterly. "Oh, we're going," I said. "But not to be cute." She nodded slowly. "We're going for war. Because tonight, Daniel was going to answer all of us." We didn't wait for dinner. By 7:40 p.m., Ruth and I were already marching toward Daniel's hostel like two soldiers on a mission. No heels, no red dresses, just anger, betrayal, and two broken hearts. I knocked. No, banged on his door. "Daniel, come out," I yelled. There was a moment of silence, then the door creaked open. He looked stunned, like a thief caught in daylight. "Jessica? Ruth?" I didn't wait. "So this is the game, Daniel. Valentine for two. You think we're jokes?" Before he could speak, Ruth stepped forward. "Answer her, babe," she said sarcastically. "Or should I say, answer us?" Daniel ran a hand over his head and sighed. "Please let me explain." "Explain what?" I snapped. How you sent the exact same teddy bear and card to two girls living in the same room. Ruth folded her arms. And dinner at 8 p.m., right? Wow. I thought I was special. Daniel looked between us, guilt written all over his face. I didn't plan for it to happen like this. Oh, so there was a plan? I cut in. Were you going to rotate tables at the restaurant like a waiter? He swallowed hard. I didn't want to hurt either of you. I genuinely liked you both. Wrong answer. You liked us both? Ruth hissed. Do we look like meat pie and donut for you to be selecting too? I was shaking. Daniel, you said I was your piece. And me? Ruth added. You called me your home. Daniel looked down. I got carried away. You were both amazing in different ways. Wow, I laughed bitterly. So we're options now. Different flavors. Just then, someone else walked in from the hallway. Baby, what's going on? She said casually, holding a phone and chewing gum. We turned. A third girl. She blinked when she saw us. Then her eyes narrowed. Who are they? Ruth gasped. Don't tell me. Daniel buried his face in his hands. You have 3 girlfriends? I screamed. Or more, Ruth muttered. Silence. Then chaos. Voices raised. Ruth flung a slipper. I threw his hoodie at his face. The third girl backed out slowly like she'd entered the wrong church. And Daniel, he just stood there, exposed, ashamed, quiet. By the time we stormed out, everyone in the hostel had heard. And that red teddy bear? I dumped mine at his doorstep. Valentine's Day ruined. But Daniel, he ruined himself. Flashback to 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. Daniel sat in his car, parked just outside a quiet cafe off campus. His phone buzzed. A message from Jessica. Just thinking about you. Can't wait to see you tonight. He smiled. But not the kind of smile love inspires. This one was all calculation. He switched to his notes app. There, neatly organized, was a list titled Val Plans. Don't mix them up. Underneath were 3 names, Jessica, Ruth, and Chloe. Each entry had detailed reminders. Jessica, red dress, dinner at Ivy Lounge, 8 p.m. Gift equals teddy plus necklace. Ruth, red dress, dinner at Serene Cafe, 8 p.m. Gift equals teddy plus perfume. Chloe, wear gold, brunch on 15th. Gift equals bracelet. No teddy, she hates cliché. Daniel chuckled to himself, switching to WhatsApp. He quickly messaged Chloe. Counting down till brunch tomorrow. Hope your golden dress is still as stunning as you. Chloe, the sweet third girl, had no idea she was on a rotating love schedule. She replied almost instantly. I can't wait. You're the best, Danny. What she didn't know was that hours earlier, Daniel had dropped 2 identical teddy bears at Jessica's and Ruth's hostels using the same dispatch rider. Efficiency. Precision. Lies stacked like Jenga blocks. In another flashback, we see Daniel seated with his boys, Leke and Toby, laughing over grilled suya and beers. Guy, Toby said, you sure say you go fit pull this off? Daniel grinned. Bro, nah mind game. You just have to be 10 steps ahead. Women like attention. Give them all just enough, but not too much. Leke laughed. You day live like James Bond. More like James broke if 2 of them find out, Daniel replied, sipping his drink. He didn't know that he had already messed up. Back in the present, Daniel was getting dressed, still unaware that his picture was flying across the entire campus group chat. Unaware that Jessica and Ruth knew about each other. Unaware that Chloe was about to drop a TikTok video later that night, featuring her own teddy bear from Daniel, with the exact same ribbon and card. Daniel wasn't just double dating. He was triple playing. And tonight, 3 girls were dressing up for one man, at the same time, for the same lies. Valentine's Day wasn't just about to end in heartbreak. It was about to go viral. The silence between us grew louder after that night. Jessica packed her things and moved out 2 days later without saying a word. I watched her zip up her suitcase with shaky hands and swollen eyes. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She just left. Before she walked out, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You brought a man into our home, and now our home is gone."